Hello, scallywags. My name is Connor, and we are here with another Marco game. Today we are playing versus Carrot for the first time, which I was definitely nervous about. If you guys have been here a while, you guys know I'm not a fan of green decks, and this isn't my mulligan hand, so I guess there are worse hands to have, but definitely not great. So my opponent goes ahead, swings 6, I take, and we get Rush Ace. And honestly, if you're not running Rush Ace in Marco, you're a silly goose. So we go ahead and leader ability. We get our 4th Dofi. That's so good. That's exactly what we want. So we put this 4th Dofi at the bottom, and I swing 6 at lead, seeing if I can get some cards out of hand, and he gives me a 2k, which I am fine with that. I tap 3 and play out. If I can grab it, Doflamingo. So, yeah, I honestly feel so much more comfortable on Marco. I did tweak the list a little bit. I will try and remember to post the updated list in the comments below for you guys. And it just feels a little less clunky and a little better. But this tournament I did goof a couple of things, and we'll talk about it when we get there, and it was a little silly of me. But this is actually the second game I played in the tournament. There were only 3 rounds, and I had a bye, which is kind of unfortunate. But we get Dofi down. We sort our top. We sort the cards. We do see we did see a Sanji in the top, so that's good. That's good. We like Sanjis. I did drop Sanji to 3, which is a little scary, but I feel like this deck, it's a bonus. I shouldn't be relying so much on the Sanjis. So my opponent plays down, I can't remember this card's name. I'll post a picture if I remember in editing. But he goes ahead and taps my blocker, since he does have a Minx on the field. That is Carrot's ability, pretty solid. And then he swings 6 into Dofi, so I get the block, even if he's rested, which honestly, wonderful for me. Oh, here it is. So I'll read this card. Inurashi? So he plays Inurashi, pretty good card in this deck. I think if I was getting a little more characters out and he was getting a little more characters out, would have been way stronger, but very, very good card. So my thought here is I want the Minx off the board. Because as I said, Carrot gets to rest if she has any Minx on the board. You can have your 1-drop Wanda Searcher on the board, and you can rest anything. So here I am doing some math, trying to see if I need this Seaquake or if I don't. So I'm separating out my Dawn. I decide I don't need my Seaquake. The goal here is I will minus that by 2, make that a 4 cost. I tried to utilize the dice today. I am waiting on some tokens. I think Eggman used them from, I don't even remember what they're called. But I am waiting on some tokens, and I actually just noticed I tapped 2 for Otama right there, which I did not mean to do. But that's okay. We end up Seaquaking that off. Sorry, my brain is a little scattered since I noticed that I tapped 2. That's silly. Math is hard. But we just go for an aggressive swing into Carrot. Not the worst play. I was gonna, I think, drop another Dofi, but they end up taking this life, which is good news for me. But yeah, I ended up ordering some tokens. I know Eggman's used them. When I get them, I'll let you guys know if I like them, and I thought it would just make it easier for you guys to see what's going on. And I did also post, or I am posting, kind of our plan for what leaders will be playing. If you are relatively new to the channel actually voted. You guys voted for the Marco deck. I picked Pudding, and I kind of liked that, so I think we will continue to have you guys pick a leader, and I'll pick a leader from each new set. Except we are going to play Sanji. So here he drops the Hody Jones, and I am not thinking he hasn't taken a life, but don't worry, our buddy Brad next to us reminds us, hey, take that life. And he ends up swinging 6, and I give him the 2k Jozu. Don't worry, he will take that life eventually. There it is. There it is. So Hody being on the board is definitely a little scary, but we are at 6 dons, so we will be at 7 or 8, excuse me, counting hard. We will be at 8 don. He swings here with Hody, and we get the peel off trigger, and you love to see it. We get the Sanji and the Marco, so not a bad combo. It is our turn now, and we top deck Izo. I did drop Izo down to 3. I know I dropped Sanji down to 3. I dropped Izo down to 3. And honestly, I feel like that's fine. I don't really use Izo too much because I see most of what I want. Here's the leader ability. For a second, I was like, oh my gosh, should I draw again? No, it's leader ability. So I minus the Hody, make him a 6 cost. Or 6,000 power. I keep saying 6 cost, 6 this, but we will end up dropping Ace, minusing him by 3 again, making Hody a 3,000 power character. And I swing 6 into Hody at 3, Hody's gone, so ultimately, absolutely worth. It's so interesting to me, so I swing 7 with Ace at lead, and he does end up countering out with the EBO1 Sanji and a Luffy, which is a pretty solid choice, honestly, to have in that deck. But it's very interesting going from black, especially because I keep running into starter deck 14 Luffy, and they're raising cost, and now here I am minusing power and taking advantage of that. And I just think Marco is really fun, and I just think that's a nice way to get around some of the bigger monsters such as Jack. So my opponent drops the Wanda Searcher, and he is searching. He grabs Wanda, and don't worry, we do fix this. He ends up playing out that Wanda, and there I am leaning in. Look at that. Terrible goatee. So yeah, I'm saying, wait, I don't think you can grab Wanda. Like it's no, like, just grab something else off the bottom. That's fine with me. And so he does, because honestly, it's locals. I'm not upset. We are learning. We are all learning our decks. And yeah, he ends up grabbing Peekums there, I believe, and putting it to his hand, taking that Dawn back that he tapped for the other Wanda. He plays the Zoe, or he uses Zoe to restand that Dawn, which is pretty crazy. I didn't know it did that, honestly. And yeah, so honestly, just getting it back on track. And I'm feeling pretty confident. Like, he does have more life, but I do have a lot of counters. I do have a Sanji in hand. And he taps for the Peekums, which makes it so I think Wanda can't be KO'd, if I remember correctly. Still kind of getting used to the Minx cards, the new Minx cards, I should say. I did utilize some of them in the Iron Man Kinemon challenge, but so he ends up dropping Pedro here, which is a really solid blocker. Honestly, it really messes me up when it taps a Dawn, or when I end up losing access to a Dawn because I swing and he lets it die. Things like that. Very good. I like that. But we end up top decking a Peel-Off, which is fine by me. I'm never going to be mad to see the Peel-Off. Of course, I'd love if they were all in my triggers, but Peel-Off is a Peel-Off, especially because we do run I think the 5 cost Marco asks you to discard an event to get it to not restand, but come back. That's the word. Oh, and here we go. We have so we get Fire Fist, and it is time for me to do some math. And I don't hate this play. I think this is an okay play here. I'm just counting to see how much Dawn I have, and so my plan here is I'm gonna drop Marco, Blocker, Fire Fist, and Peel-Off, So I put one of the Marco blockers I had at the bottom, and I end up minusing Wanda, which is a bit of a mistake. I think I actually... No, Okay, oh no, I'm asking for clarification. I'm saying Wanda can't be killed. He's like, yes, Pico is protecting Wanda, they can't be killed. So I minus Pedro. That's how that works. Minusing Pedro, we get the dice out there. He's got the dice, he's faster than me. I'm an old man, you know? And I end up tapping 2. I'm thinking about, do I Fire Fist now? Do I swing? And I think I do want to Fire Fist now, so I end up Fire Fisting, KOing Pedro, because with that, he becomes a 0 cost, and my life is at 2. That's the Fire Fist I have. So he is telling me on KO, I'm going to rest one of your Dawn. And I was like, oh shoot, I can't do what I wanted to do. But I do have one of those Dofis, so I'm like, okay, we can still make it work. So we peel off and we draw Marco and Newgate. So there's the Marco. Would have loved to see Marco a little earlier, but that's okay. He at least has counter. So we tap 3, my remaining 3, and we play down the Dofi. We see a Sanji's peel off, and a couple of King News. So I want to put those at top. I don't feel like I need the peel off. I don't feel like I need the Sanji. I am feeling pretty much confident and like I am in the driver's seat of this game. And y'all, my big misplay is coming, don't worry. But we swing 7 at lead, my cards are in the way, and he ends up dropping an event, and I think I asked to read it, mostly because I don't remember what these events do. Yeah, there I am asking to read it. It is Karmatic Punishment. So if I remember, I'll put a picture on screen. If not, it is called Karmatic Punishment. You're welcome. So 7 with the ace goes, or gets countered, excuse me, and he's got 1 card in hand, so I'm like, okay, you know, let's go 6 at lead. I am so bouncy lately, Jesus. Yeah, 6 at lead, and he ends up taking, and I pass turn. And I have a blocker. Granted, he could rest the blocker, I know this much. But I have a blocker, I have a decent amount of counter in hand, and next turn, the Sanji Newgate is the play. But let's see here. And that is absolutely where I misplay, so. 10 Dawn, my opponent's at 10 Dawn, 2 cards in hand. I am a little worried. Wow, that's a nice close-up of my hand there. Sometimes I just forget the cameras were right there. So he ends up resting the Doflamingo, which is understandable. He's separating his Dawn. I am a little worried about not that. I was not expecting the X-Drake. But he X-Drakes and then plays Nekamamushi that gains a rush because I have Dawn rested and so does my opponent. It's something about the... Wow, that is my hand. I am so sorry. I often forget that my camera is where it is. So I know somebody mentioned that they were wondering if I could put the camera on the side of the table, and I certainly can at tournaments like this. I absolutely can if my opponent's okay with it. And okay, so he swings 7 into ace, I counter out. He swings 5 into me, and I counter out. Nekamamushi with the rush. I think he swings Nekamamushi into me, yeah, because he's out of Dawn. And I give him the 2k because it's a 6k body if I'm not mistaken. And I'm just trying to stay healthy at this point. And with Zoe, he gets to restand something, I think. But yeah, there are certain places where I will be able to put the clamp on the side of the table so we can see my opponent's hand and my hand. And there is a couple places, like the tournament on Thursdays, where I may not be able to do that all the time. So I will keep that in mind, and if that's something you guys want to see, I will absolutely do that. But it is time to 9 Sanji, and your boy is dense. So I take the card, and I'm like, I don't need this Marco. Put it on the bottom. This is the second time today I have done that, where I don't put the card on top. I don't know what it was, but I end up swinging 7 into 4. And granted, I don't think I end up playing anything off of the Sanji either, because yeah. I'm like, I think here I'm realizing, like, oh my god, I goofed. Do I actually drop Newgate? That is a much better play. I thought I dropped the Sanji, but I end up dropping the Newgate, which is not a bad play. I swing 8 and my opponent takes it. I was supposed to drop the Sanji, put Newgate on top, get those 2 bodies on board, and I messed up Marco ability. I don't know what it was about this tournament in particular, where I just kept forgetting to put it on top. Like, I don't know. It would have helped me. It would have helped me a lot. I would have had a couple extra counter in hand, but yeah. So my goal here is just to, and yeah, there I am talking to the homie KC, saying, look, I fucked up. I forgot to put the Newgate on top of my deck. But yeah, so my goal here is, I'm pretty sure if I can just stay alive, I can be okay. But he drops the carrot, and freezes ace. I'm like, ooh, that's tough. That is tough. But I think, even though he has a decent amount of counters, since I am a 7k leader, I think that is, it's good. I think that Marco, or Newgate, really came through here, made it a little bit more difficult. So I have this, because I have 2 life and 4k counter in hand, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable to take a couple hits. And with him only having 5 down left, I don't think he can match it. So he ends up swinging 9, if I'm not mistaken, into me, and I take it. I get another King Do, so really, really solid life there. He swings a 7, I believe, with X Drake, and I do end up 2K'ing out with the King Do, and he swings 7 here, and I'm pretty confident. 6, 7, yeah. Since I am a 7k leader, yeah. So I get another King Do as well. King Do's, they love me, which is great. I'm not mad about it. So I'm pretty confident here that I can get this. We get another Sanji. I just throw that at the bottom. I don't need him. I minus the X Drake, but my opponent has 2 cards in hand, and I have Newgate. So my plan here is, I know math. I feel like I'm getting a little bit better at calculating lethal, a tiny bit, and I'm okay with that. So I know if those are both 2Ks, he goes to 9. So I go. So I swing 9. He ends up taking, and I've got Newgate. I just throw the rest on Newgate. Granted, I could have swung 10, but yeah, I wanted to secure the win. So there it is, our first game versus Carrot. As far as playing against green decks, if you guys know, I'm an avid green deck hater. I actually did enjoy playing against Carrot. I think Marco is really strong, and he's only going to get stronger with this new set, and yeah. But yeah, this tournament I did mess up my Sanji plays, so I'm expecting to get flamed. Please flame me. And, you know, wanted to go over them because it's a learning experience. So I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked this video, hit that like button down below. It helps me out more than you could ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.